when you start waking up and realizing the things that I was talking about yesterday in terms of triggers, and just kind of when you start to feel that pressure, that weight, and going into your I am and breaking that cycle of just kind of becoming your thoughts. What I'm just realizing now, when I went into my I am, because I started feeling some pressure, and I've noticed that when I go into that, so instead of going into that cycle, remember I was talking about the direction yesterday, and your mood is everything, and it's like you're the sun, and you can go this direction towards all of your goals and all the things that you want, as long as you continue to stay in that mood, in that state, you will continue to move in that direction. But as long as you continue to stay where you are, what you've currently been doing, that hasn't taken you there, if you have doubts and fears and worries, and you continue to play that movie, then you're on that timeline, which is moving in the opposite direction from where you want to go. And so once you start to break that cycle, you start to be able to see things for what they are, and life becomes clearer. But what also becomes clearer is the fact that the other people around you who aren't doing this, who are continuing to remain in that cycle, like when you do this, when you don't do this, you realize, and this is, I guess, all part of the waking up, and this is why people who actually wake up can talk about and teach this stuff, because it is a process. It's kind of like a back and forth. It's like you come out of it, then you go back into it. You come out of it, and you go back into it. And so you're able to recognize certain things, each time you, quote unquote, come up for air. And so that's what I'm realizing now. Even I've been making these videos and falling asleep in the wish fulfilled since, May. There has been a couple of times where I've gone, kind of gotten away from it and gone back into that cycle, to where, my thoughts started to take over again. And so now, coming out of it, I'm recognizing that when I was in that, when my thoughts were taking over, it was like I knew it, but I couldn't do anything about it. And so the point of this is that the people around you who aren't applying this stuff, this is where compassion comes in, and empathy. Because if it's this challenging for me or you, and you're just kind of applying this and practicing all the time, imagine the people who aren't doing that. They're still in that cycle. And so the next part is recognizing that they're going to be highs from these people that surround you, and they're going to be lows, just like there were, and just like there still are with you, where I talked about, there's certain times of the year, like in my adulthood, where it was just like clockwork, where certain things would happen, triggers, and then all of a sudden I would be in that state, in that mood, because I didn't know about my triggers. And even if I did, I didn't know how to handle them. I just thought that's who I was. And so the people around you now are the old you. They're going through the same things. They're that version of you who didn't know how to handle the triggers, even though you wanted to, even though I wanted to. I wasn't aware enough. I wasn't awake enough to be able to do it. And so when you come from that perspective, it makes it easier to see why, occasionally the people around you, even though you're in a great mood, they may not be. Because that's how it works. And it's my job and your job to handle it as best we can. And the more we can recognize that that's what's going on and remind ourselves that that's what's happening, the easier it gets to be in that experience and not react to it. And then not only to not react to it, but then to possibly and maybe be able to help the situation, because now you're coming from a different framework. You understand it. So instead of reacting to it and having that moment where you're saying things that are kind of like out of control, now you recognize and you could pause. And if you pause and you're like, oh, this is just that cycle, then who knows? You'll probably receive a thought that could help the situation and bring awareness to that person that they never had before. This is so much fun.